Now, before I get into the trailer itself for Agatha, there's a little background I want to go over. And let me know if the music's too loud, if the background noise is too loud or whatever, because I didn't really run a test on it. But Agatha, for those of you who may not be aware, was a character that was featured in WandaVision. WandaVision was a Disney Plus show that I really liked. I thought WandaVision was well done. And it had the Scarlet Witch was the primary character, right? And Agatha Harkness here, this video is from WandaVision. One of the episodes where it has the background of how long Agatha has been around. So before I get to the actual trailer for the Agatha All Along Disney Plus series, this is from the final episode of WandaVision, and Agatha Harkness and the Scarlet Witch are facing off, and Agatha brings up the Darkhold, which is a sort of like a version of the Necronomicon from Lovecraft's the mythos, the Cthulhu myths and all that. And it has an image here of the Scarlet Witch, and Agatha is trying to tell Wanda that she is the Scarlet Witch, and the Scarlet Witch is not born, she's forged.
Wanda, you've never been up against another witch before. Did you know there's an entire chapter devoted to you in the Darkhold? That's the Book of the Damned. The Scarlet Witch is not born, she is forged.
And if you look back at the history of the MCU, right here, watch this.
The dead will be buried so deep their own ghosts won't be able to find them. And the survivors? The twins. Sooner or later, they will meet the twins. It's not a world of spies anymore, not even a world of heroes. This is the age of miracles, Doctor. There's nothing more horrifying than a miracle.
Alright, now that's the first appearance of the Scarlet Witch in the MCU. This was the end credit scene from Captain America the Winter Soldier. And Baron von Strucker talks about the fact that using Loki's scepter and the Mind Stone that was inside, although they didn't know it was the Mind Stone at the moment, they created the twins, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. So this was her first appearance. Agatha references this when she's talking about the Darkhold here, where she actually says the Scarlet Witch isn't born, she's forged. And that's a reference back to that scene that we just watched from Captain America the Winter Soldier, where they show the twins for the first time. They show the Scarlet Witch for the first time. And it will play out later, and actually in WandaVision episode 8, I think it was, or 9, where they took the trip down memory lane and showed how Wanda sort of was exposed to the power of the Mind Stone. Now the image also that is in the book, in the Darkhold, that Agatha's holding out, there's a background to it. And the background, I gotta wait for this to catch up here. There it is. Alright, look at the background of the image. It's the Scarlet Witch, there's her crown right there. You've got these circles. There's 4 of them. There's one beneath here that's sort of covered up. This is a version of Metatron's cube. Now, Metatron is not a Transformers character. It's just an actual name. Metatron's cube. It's a spiritual in sacred geometry, right? It's a mystical 3-dimension cube used by the Archangel Metatron to watch over the flow of energy connecting the Earth and the divine. Now, what they've done with this is that people have actually taken images from the Hubble telescope, from tunneling telescopes, from micrometers, all that, and they found a symmetry throughout the structure of the universe, a symmetry throughout the structure, and that things microscopic and macroscopic tend to have the same shapes, and that's what shows up in the background imagery here in the Darkhold. Now Agatha continues to read from the Darkhold.
She has no coven, no need for incantation.
I'm not a witch. I don't cast spells. No one taught me magic.
Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Alright, so Agatha, now she's reading from the book. Agatha is reading from the Darkhold when she says all this stuff, right? She's trying to tell Wanda exactly who and what she is, because Wanda is refusing to accept that reality. And I just thought it was interesting that in the Metatron's cube would be in the background, which shows that symmetry, that according to those who are into this mystical aspect of sacred geometry and all that, that it would be behind the Scarlet Witch in this image. Okay, so Agatha says the Scarlet Witch has no coven, no need for incantation. The power is just hers to use. The power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme. Well, who is the Sorcerer Supreme, right? Doctor Strange. Stephen Strange from, of course, also in the MCU. He had his own movie. Here he is. This is from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, where Doctor Strange uses the Darkhold himself. He's looking for America Chavez, and he finds her. He uses the Darkhold to find out where America Chavez is being held. And he says, okay, we're coming, right? And then he has to smash the Darkhold back down. This is from the end of WandaVision. This is the last scene in WandaVision, where it shows that Wanda, now listen closely as the sound comes on. Wanda used the Darkhold to find what she was looking for. At the end of WandaVision, she was looking for her children. And what she heard there at the end of it were the voices of her two children. A lot of people have criticized WandaVision. And a lot of people have criticized WandaVision. They've criticized Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness because Wanda was so obsessed with finding her children, children who weren't real. They were real to her. That's the plot point that always gets overlooked when people are making that argument, that the plot for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is flawed because Wanda has gone sort of insane over finding children that were never real. They were real to her, and the Darkhold in that scene right there told her they were. The Darkhold told her that if you just use this book, you can find what you want. You can find your children. And that leads to the whole a train of events that took place in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Okay, so Wanda finds what she's looking for, right? Now there's a scene, Agatha predicts, and this is WandaVision, going back to WandaVision. Agatha predicts what would happen next.
It's your destiny to destroy the world.
Okay, your destiny to destroy the world, and that is essentially what is threatened to happen. Listen to this. This is also from the last episode of WandaVision.
No. Please.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not. You're cruel. You have no idea what you've unleashed. You're gonna need me.
If I do, I know where to find you.
Wait.
Alright, so Agatha tells her you have no idea what you've unleashed. But Wanda won't listen. And Agatha tells her, says, you're not sorry, you're just cruel. And that would be borne out, again, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Wanda tells her, you live here now. That is a very cruel line, if you think about it. She's looking down at Agnes. She's transformed her back into this sort of mindless sitcom character. And she says, you live here now. That is cruelty. That's Cruelty 101. This is from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This is one of the greatest scenes of any Marvel movie. This is one of the greatest movie scenes that they ever filmed, in my opinion. But listen to the exchange here between the two of them.
The Darkhold.
You're familiar with the Darkhold?
I know it's the Book of the Damned, and that it corrupts everything and everyone that it touches. I wonder what it's done to you.
The Darkhold only showed me the truth. Everything I lost can be mine again.
Which is exactly correct. The Darkhold spoke to Wanda in the last scene of WandaVision and told her that your children are alive, your children are real, and you can have them again. That prompted her to do all the stuff she did in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Part of that was leaving Agatha in that limbo of Westview, right? In the mindset of that cartoon or that sitcom character. Okay, so let me pause this just for a moment to set this up, because at the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda Maximoff apparently is dead. That's kind of what happens at the end of the movie, right? Apparently, Wanda Maximoff is dead. Agatha is still stuck in Westview under the spell that Scarlet Witch put her under. But if the Scarlet Witch is now out of power, what would happen to the spell? That's the premise of this series, and it's one of the reasons that I have kind of high hopes for Agatha All Along, because that is the premise of the series. Alright, so here we go. The trailer for Agatha All Along begins. Revenge is a witch. I meant to point that out, I'm sorry. That's the tagline. Revenge is a witch. Revenge against who? I'm glad I caught this, because I was very interested when I first saw this poster and it says revenge is a witch. That's the logical question, right? Revenge against who? Who is Agatha going to take revenge against? If not the Scarlet Witch. I have a prediction about this series, and that in one form or another, the Scarlet Witch will return. Now look here. You can see all these people. These are shapes. These are the people. These are the members of her coven that she builds as the show goes along here. All right, let me roll this again. But that's my prediction, that in one form or another, the Scarlet Witch will return, and I'm right about that. I can prove that with the trailer once it starts.
Another beautiful day.
Surprised to see you out here, Detective. Jane Doe. Found her down here by the water.
Cause?
Blunt force trauma.
What happened to you?
First, Agatha shows up. She's no longer just the nosy neighbor that Wanda left her as. She's now a detective on the police force, right? And they go to find this body in the woods, dead from blunt force trauma. Look at the way the body is dressed. This is Wanda Maximoff. This is the Scarlet Witch, or at least a version of the Scarlet Witch that Agatha can see. The clothes that she's wearing are the exact same set of clothes that Wanda had on in the final season of WandaVision when she left Westview, when she took the spell down. Here it is. You can see right here. Those are the clothes. This is how she was dressed at the end of WandaVision when she took the spell down and walked away. And she's wearing, this body is wearing the exact same stuff, minus the shoes and socks. So this is Wanda lying on the ground. And there's another way you can tell. It'll come up in a moment, that they do a close-up of her fingers. Yeah, right here. Look at her fingers. Her fingers are dark. It was established in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that using the Darkhold did this to your hands. The same thing happened to Agatha when she was holding the Darkhold. There it is. You can see right here. Her fingers. I'm pointing at the screen like you can see my hand, but anyway, her fingers are all black from using the Darkhold as well. Okay, so Wanda has shown up already.
I have a lead in the case, but I can't shake this feeling I'm seeing it wrong.
Alright, there she is, Wanda Maximoff. This is a library card from, and it actually says on the bottom here, Westview Branch. This is a public library system in New Jersey, and Wanda checked this book out on October 13th, and if you check the timeline within the whole MCU, that plays out.
Is this really how you see yourself? That witch is gone, leaving you trapped in her distorted spell. Claw your way out.
Now this is Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza is Rio Vidal. Rio Vidal is also known as the Green Witch, and she's one of the characters in Agatha All Along. And this article talks about the fact that Marvel just secretly revealed a god with connection to the MCU, Scarlet Witch, according to Phase 5 theory. Down here it says Aubrey Plaza has been confirmed to be playing Rio Vidal in Agatha All Along, but a new theory suggests she may be someone else in disguise. Marvel Comics Gia that she bears and you'll see an image of her later where she's all dressed in green, which is why they call her the Green Witch. But Gia in the comics was a very powerful god in the MCU, which did have connections to the Scarlet Witch. There's a lot of talk around the internet in various places as to whether or not Wanda will come back. Will she come back in the series other than as a corpse, right? Other than as the corpse they find at the beginning of the show. Will she come back? I think she will. That's part of, I think that's going to be part of the journey. All right, let's continue here. There's a Blade article here that was interesting to read as well, but I digress. The Scarlet Witch is just such a powerful figure that it's almost criminal to think that that Marvel Disney isn't going to use her further as it goes along. All right, now back to the trailer. The Green Witch comes in and says, listen, Agatha, the Scarlet Witch is dead. You're trapped in this spell. Claw your way out of it. Agatha does that, and she starts to manifest in all these personas that she had in WandaVision. The black and white version from the 50s. This was the 80s. That's how she was dressed when they did the 80s show in WandaVision. WandaVision was a great show. It really was. But she's starting to remember.
I miss the glory days.
She took every bit of power I had, but I can be that witch again.
In this, she's talking to herself about how Wanda took all the power that she had, but she can be that witch again. Look at the background here. Now, the interesting thing about this shot to me is right here. You see these lines in the background, and the illumination off of this looks like just a big stone of some kind. But this is a rune, and I looked it up on RuneWorks, and this is a rune. It is. I've never been into this kind of stuff other than just reading. Like again, I've read Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard and Stephen King, all that stuff. But this is an actual rune, which is behind Agatha, which could be part of the prison that she's in, representative of the prison that she's in. Runes were a part of the first WandaVision. Wanda used them to defeat Agatha in the final episode. So I wanted to point that out. Then you have these stones. The stones are also indicative of the fact that they're in a circle that is being crossed, and they are glowing as well, right? This shot is of it appears to be the 1970s, a shot out of the 1970s, given a psychedelic look, and the clothes that they're wearing, and this is Agatha in the middle in some form of pain. This is the way her hands are being held. If you saw WandaVision, the first time that Agatha and the Scarlet Witch meet in the basement of Agatha's home, she cast a spell using the same motion. The exact same motion, only here, of course, nothing is happening because she still doesn't have her power back. And then finally, it's a five-sided figure that opens up to a basement. Probably, I don't know whose basement it's going to be, but you can see the lights beneath. Okay, somebody conjures up this thing, all right? And but note the red background. That's Wanda's color. All these guys, all the witches have they're color coded. The Scarlet Witch, of course, color was red. Agatha's was purple. So that's why I put this in here. That and one theory about who this is the primordial Scarlet Witch, because there have been more than one. Again, if you're a fan of Marvel Comics, the Scarlet Witch is not something that was limited to only one person. It was throughout time. There would be those who took on that name, right? That name, or it could be Lilith. Lilith is also from the Marvel Comics. Two fictional characters appearing in Marvel Comics. The first version is the daughter of Dracula. The second is a demon.
Well, the gang's all here. Let's hit the road.
Okay, now this is the coven that Agatha puts together, and I put the names and all this in here. I have to admit that I didn't know who all of these people were because I haven't read comics the same way that I once did. But this is the interesting one here is Billy Kaplan. Billy Kaplan is one of Wanda's children from WandaVision. He is one of the two. He's known of as Wiccan.
I'm gonna walk the witch's road. The road is a death wish.
Okay, they're going to walk the Yellow Brick Road, and they call it the Witch's Road. But one theory is that the castle there is the castle of Victor Von Doom. I hope so. I don't know if they'll actually do it, but it could be the castle of Victor Von Doom. And the only two people in the picture are Agatha and Wiccan, Billy Kaplan. And the whole Witch's Road aspect is... It is aching when you read the background on it. It is aching to walk on the Yellow Brick Road. This looks like something out of Grimm's fairy tales, like Hansel and Gretel. And the house up there looks like something from the 80s, or perhaps the 70s, you know.
Join me.
This is an eviction notice. Let me pause this for a moment. I'm not sure how long I left this in here. But she's asking these other women to join her coven, and she's holding up an eviction notice from 3 Star Enterprises or something. And again, the symbol here that's on it is another one of those mystical symbols about some mystical trinity, right? And there's a lot of symbolism in this trailer. There's a lot to unpack and break down here, but anyway. The eviction notice is from 3 Star Rentals. 3 Star Rentals. This is Agatha taking power from the other members of her coven. She did this in WandaVision as well. This is the Green Witch kind of waving. This is the same woman who showed up as the FBI agent at the beginning. But she's kind of waving goodbye as if at this point her and Agatha are separating. Okay. Now that was kind of quick, but what happens is this is Agatha after some fight. There's an explosion. And this is all glass shards that have cut her up like this, but she's laughing because she survived. And she's fighting the Salem 7. They are the daughters of the witches that Agatha killed in the episode of WandaVision where they did the flashback, right? And so they're out for revenge. They show up here looking for Agatha, Salem 7, Earth 616. A group of magically mutated superhumans, all of whom share the same father, Nicholas Scratch. That's just a nickname for the devil. And all whom lived in New Salem, Colorado. Its citizens remain in the isolation of the rest of the world of war, being persecuted as witches and warlocks. The most powerful sorceress in New Salem was its leader, Agatha Harkness. Her only known child was a warlock known as Nicholas Scratch. Okay, so the Salem 7 are part of the Marvel comic universe. Only in this show, they're referenced as the daughters of, and this is just a crawl that shows who they are. But in this show, they're referenced as the daughters of the witches that Agatha killed. And I think it was episode 6 or episode 7 of WandaVision. And so they've come back looking for revenge. That whole revenge is a witch thing, right? Okay, and this is the leader of the Salem 7. And she has the power to turn into a cicada if she wants to. I tried to find this video, but there's a moment in WandaVision where Wanda looks at the window and there's a cicada on her curtain and she can't figure out why. And I think that's just the call forward, right? Okay, this is again, now she's wearing purple this time, but this is the Green Witch. This is the same actress who's playing the Green Witch, and now she's angry and actually picks a fight with Agatha. But she looks good doing it, right? Here they are on their broomsticks. What would a show about witches be if they weren't riding broomsticks, right?
What witch in her right mind would join Agatha Harkness's coven?
Not looking for right-minded witches, as it happens.
This again is the leader of the Salem 7. This image, she looks like Candyman, right? She looks like Candyman from the movies, if you remember Candyman. And she's spewing cicadas out of her mouth. Candyman used bees. This is a scene from Candyman where these two are looking in the mirror. and they say Candyman 3 times and start laughing because it didn't work, and then he just shows up and cuts both of them to ribbons, which is what happened a lot in the movie. Here they are flying past the blood moon, and a blood moon is an actual thing. It occurs every now and, like every 12 years or something like that, there'll be a blood moon, and I've seen a couple of them in my lifetime.
Sweetheart, you okay? Oh my God! Whoa, what's she doing? Where's she going?
All right, now that scene, and this is just the trailer's going to run a couple times here while I just make a few comments, but the final scene there harkened back to The Exorcist, right? Where she starts crab walking like that. That also happened in The Exorcist. And it was, I think all that happens in the house in the 80s that they find on the Witch's Road. Now, I have kind of high hopes for this because I think the story will logically extend from what came prior. I think that they put some thought into this. I think they know what the power of the characters that they have here. The Doom of She-Hulk, Secret Wars, and Echo may finally have taught Marvel Disney a much-needed lesson. And in the plot, revenge plays a central role. And again, I think it's going to be more than just the revenge of the Salem 7 going after Agatha. I think Agatha wants to get her revenge on Wanda Maximoff. And even if someone tells her that Wanda Maximoff is dead, nobody really dies in the MCU, right? And it's not confirmed that she actually is, and I don't think she actually is. All right. Agatha All Along, what is the Witch's Road and why is it important? One intriguing concept that has captured viewers' attention is the Witch's Road. Fans are buzzing with curiosity, wondering about the significance of the road and why it holds such importance in the series. It's a series of tests, I believe. What she does going along the Witch's Road is a series of tests and encounters. And along the way, she starts losing people to where she finally walks up and reaches the end on her own. One of the bubbles which comprised the Mega World was composed of the Witch's Road, home to the Scarlet Queen. There, the time-displaced X-Men encountered Mugam, who offered to help them find a safe way out in return for something to eat. So I only put this in here to show that the Witch's Road is not a new concept. It has been part of Marvel comics, and it says a plane of existence where only with sorcerers can tread. Anyway, Agatha's goal is to regain the powers taken from her by Wanda Maximoff. That's kind of made clear in the trailer, and there's just a lot of nuance to what's going on here, a lot of attention to detail, and a lot of things that are tied back to the other series. Of course, I talked about all that at the beginning, and one potential answer is, of course, Wanda Maximoff as to who she's going to get her revenge on, why she's even bothering to do all of this. Now, the MCU just introduced a way to bring back the Scarlet Witch. Agatha's new show could lead to Wanda Maximoff return to the land of the living. The Witch's Road offers a chance to explore chaos magic and also resurrect the Scarlet Witch. And the mysterious goth teen is likely a reincarnation of Wanda's son, Billy Kaplan. Okay, I said that earlier. I mean, everybody knows that. Everybody who saw the trailer knows who Billy Kaplan is, and he's Wiccan from... he was one of Wanda's 2 sons that were in WandaVision. Only now he's grown up a little bit, and he gets hooked up with Agatha. Now, again, this is a scene, again, that there's a lot of throwbacks in here also to just other horror franchises. Agatha All Along, this is Forbes. This is out of Forbes magazine. Agatha All Along is very obviously about resurrecting Wanda Maximoff. And why not is my point. Why not? I mean, I've said this before. The Scarlet Witch is one of the greatest characters that the MCU ever put on the screen. And her power was such that by the time that the events of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness came along, she was just fully tapping into, and there was so much more left to be said for her to go out at the end of that movie in the manner that she did. This person is talking about, I'm furious all over again about Scarlet Witch's MCU fate. Well, everybody's furious about something nowadays. But the underlying point is, that these Molly Freeman here, who wrote this, also believes that Marvel should bring back the Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. And this is just some background. I remember these days when I was the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, right? That was great stuff in the comics, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. That really was. But by the end of that story, she joined the Avengers. She was an Avenger. All right, Catherine Hahn attempts to build a coven as she tackles the Witch's Road in the first Agatha All Along trailer. The new series picks up where after Agatha left powerless thanks to the Scarlet Witch. And again, I put this up here just because I think that for the first time since WandaVision, the writers at Disney have put some thought into this, right? They've put some true thought and some true structure, some true story development and character development and world building. That's the most important. They put some more world building. Why would they do that? Box office analysts estimate Disney lost $890 million on last 8 releases. Secret Invasion, 45% on audience score. I think that's too high. 59% for Echo. I know that's inflated. Echo could not have gotten 59% audience score. That show was just horrible. But I have high hopes for this. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be worth watching. And I think it's going to be, finally, a return to what the MCU needs. And up next will be the Umbrella Academy. First time chat. Rizzo says RVR shit. Yeah, well, I did that already. I'm talking about Marvel now. And Catherine Hahn is probably perfect for this role.
And I killed Sparky, too.